The reason we don't have so many people tonight is that I'm so sorry, but there was a mistake in sending out the flyer. And on the bulletin board, we don't have this date listed, but we're very fortunate. We're having not only Sister Anjani, who's supposed to speak next week. How many of you know Sister Anjani? But we also have back from, what was it, 2 months you were gone? But you're not here and you were here. Okay. I wasn't. Okay. Anyway, welcome back. And tonight we have a 1-2 punch in Sister Anjani, whom you all know. And I don't know how many of you, and I just want to say hi to whoever did get brave and tune in to Zoom tonight, even though the flyer never went out properly. I do apologize. So call anyone you know that would like to be here. Okay. But Sister Michelle has another identity. I don't know if you know it. She's a former New York State Assembly member, and she's director for New York Service Homes and Community Renewal, which is New York State's affordable housing agency. And she's been a student of the BKs for 9 years, right? And Sister Anjani, of course, has been here. She predates me, even though I'm older than she is. She has been here forever. Sister Anjani, where did you go? How many years do you have? We'll ask her when she comes out. Yeah. So we've been doing planting seeds and hoping that they germinate. Have any of you done any practice you'd like to share in planting your own seeds in a new way so that they're encouraged to grow? It's so ironic. Last week we had Sister Savita give you the little plants if you were here. And coincidentally, the day before, my husband decided to take little tiny tomato seeds and put them in a little container and fill it with a little dirt. And then all of a sudden, Sabita's doing it and he's doing it. And it's beautiful. It's sprouting. And he's been very creative lately. So I like to think it's a metaphor for all this good stuff he's been doing. He works for the town of Oyster Bay and he does wonderfully creative videos to the history of Hicksville, and very talented man. So he sprouted also with Sister Sabita, and I hope some of you did it too. How many years have you been a BK? 43. Beautiful. So I'm going to let Sister Anjani and Sister Michelle take center stage. And our discussion this evening is going to be, now you were supposed to do next week, not tonight. So I don't even know which theme you're doing. We're going to let Michelle and enjoy the evening. Okay. And we will proceed with the help of our beloved Baba to have a wonderful hour. Promise. Om Shanti. Welcome. Thank you.
Hello? Oh, hello. Hello.
Hello.
Story. Well, actually, this is going to be a rather intimate conversation. I'm going to forget you're here because I have been meeting with Sister Anjani probably for more than 9 years since I'm a student.
The proof of the pudding is on the wall.
Right. If you've ever walked down the stairs, there's this certificate that I gave when I was in the New York State Assembly to Harmony House, because unbeknownst to me, I used to, well, meaning I didn't know I'd be a student here. Fast forward, I would be invited by Sister Anjani to come and sit in on classes. And, I was a politician, so you come up and you talk and thinking I knew something. I knew nothing, but I did speak. I spoke pretty well. God, who knows what I said, but they kept coming back and they would visit me in my office. And I would literally say, and I'm getting to the point with this conversation tonight, I would say to my staff, I hope they come back. They would tie Racky. I would tell them all the problems I have with people yelling at me. Why is the government do this? Why, and how hard it was. And they would, whenever it was Eric and Sister Anthony, brother Eric, and would visit me at least once a year, probably twice a year. And after they left, I would say, my staff would be there too. That was so nice. I need that. And after a while, I would start feeling like it's time for them to come. Call them. Little did I know, I knew about the meditation, and I did my own meditation. I did, because as you could see, I'm very high energy and I needed to kind of center it. Someone had once said, and we were doing a program on LIPA, the then governor, the governor actually said, we're going to stick a wire in Michelle's head and we'll germinate energy from that. I'm not kidding you, because I had so much energy. They said, we'll just go. So I knew I had to turn it down. But anyway, we used to start having conversations about God and spirituality. And I was a God person, if you will, since I was 5 years old. I mean, always spoke to God. And we always had these very intimate conversations. And we've never had this before like this. And I thought about that yesterday. And I'm like, well, you and I'll have a conversation. I'm like, what? What do you mean you and I'll have a conversation? We have, but I don't know if I'm ready to. So I'm going to have to pretend. I'll look at you. With you, but I don't know. I'm going to pretend you're not. We're just going to have a conversation because it is kind of personal, is it not? It's very intimate, but I'm happy to share with you. I'm just kidding. I'm very happy to impart. And that's kind of what we're going to get into tonight, planting seeds. So
Let's plant some seeds.
let's plant some seeds.
I have candy. I'm good.
I think I'm okay. Thank you, though.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I'm not very good at AV. Okay. So I have been for the last 2 weeks coming to the planting seeds of abundance every week. Although as Louise had mentioned, I had been away for a couple of months, 2 months. I missed you guys, but I did get to see you. I was one of those up there zooming in from it was in Key West for a while. And I have been physically here for the last 2 weeks, but I still think we need a review in terms of seeds of abundance. And I wondered if you can help me, because I'm getting ready. I like to make pots and I plant seeds, and I plant apple seeds. And well, I don't plant apple seeds, actually. I plant daisies, for example. What do you get when you plant a seed from a daisy?
You will get
A daisy. Okay. Hear me. Yes. And if you plant apple seeds, what do you get? An apple tree. Exactly. But I have to ask a definition of what does planting seed means. I know, let's get out of the garden. This is the garden. What does that mean for our daily life? And I'm wondering if you can tell me from morning till night, I'm planting seeds in some form or another, sometimes unbeknownst to me. Can you explain some examples? I'm going to put you on the spot of some seeds I should consider that I should plant during the day.
Do we all like spring? Yeah. We look forward for spring, right? Why we look forward for spring? It's so beautiful, so colorful. It feels so fresh. It's as though the wind is blowing in there's a fragrance even in the wind. You go outside in the morning and feel the freshness of being with Mother Nature. Not that we don't love winter. It's beautiful. This time was a pretty long winter. And then 2 days you get a heat wave, like as though you're in the heart of summer. But when you think of spring, you think of this time, you think about the seeds. And what is so beautiful, you're not only thinking about the physical seeds that you have to plant. It's one thing that we enjoy doing. But as Michelle is asking about the seeds that we sow throughout the day, I would say I love to wake up in the morning and feel it is such a wonderful day. It's such a beautiful day. And the first seed that I would always, always think of sowing in the morning as soon as I wake up is good morning to God. I want to meet God first. I want to feel that I'm in a company, or I'm in the receiving, or I'm in the planting mode of that this seed is so powerful that the fruit that I will receive from that, and by the way, when you plant this seed, you get instant fruit. You're not waiting for it. You're getting something which is instant. And so the experience becomes that which is very powerful. So I would say, plant the best seed as soon as your eyes open. Whether for me, it's good morning to God, whether it's good morning to Mother Nature, whether it's meeting, sending the pure vibrations to the souls of the world, whether it's my morning study that I have to study, I have to give something more to myself, that in terms of knowledge, I have to sow those seeds.
So,
Because
look at your
thoughts are
phone
the
first and then tell, because I know, you want to look at your phone. But
I
no,
don't pick
no,
up my
right,
phone.
right. That's gone.
I don't want to talk to anyone else when I wake up. I don't want to see anyone else. I don't want to do just the mundane things of life when I wake up. I want to start my day with God, myself as a soul with God, because my thoughts are the seeds. And I'm looking forward to have a beautiful day when we go to sleep at night. We're looking forward to have another beautiful day. But if my morning, that seed is not of that brilliance, then what am I going to have throughout the day?
So you're essentially putting together, and aside from the seed, the soil has to be ready for it. So that's going to be my next question. Give me another seed. It's now 11 o'clock in the afternoon, in the morning. What's another seed? I'm meeting someone for my work meeting. I have a work meeting. Is there a seed I can plant?
Oh, definitely, definitely. So you have the seed of when you wake up, you have the seed of your study, because I need to understand how I'm going to plant better seeds. Because if someone who is not a gardener, they're going to go on YouTube to learn all the little minute things of how to make a good garden and how to be a good gardener. Now, if I'm being a gardener for myself and I have to plant the seeds, I have to also study. I need knowledge. I need understanding. I need to be aware of what I should be engaged in, what I should not be engaged in, what are some of the thoughts which is going to be more beneficial. Sometimes I want happiness. And if I want happiness, what are the thoughts that the seeds that I'm going to sow in that direction to have what I want as happiness? So it depends. So, okay, 11 o'clock in the day, I have a meeting at 11:30. What do? I prepare myself. I look at my thoughts, I look at my feelings, and actually creating an atmosphere of the vibrations of where I'm going is also another way of the preparation of the land to sow the seeds. Because when you go into the meeting, you're going into the meeting with your thoughts. So if you prepare your thoughts beforehand, and the thoughts is coming from a place of silence, the thoughts are coming from a place of deep reflection, you understand that you might hit against the wall, you might reach someone who's going to challenge you. It can be any direction. But once I take that little moment and prepare myself, you'll find yourself doing far better in that meeting. So that's another preparation for planting very good seeds. Traffic control. And that's your hourly seeds.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. Because it's true. for myself, and we've talked about this in private, that I've had some challenges. Sometimes, generally my challenges come in employment with the people that I work with, and not too bad. We once talked about it here, and I think I've mentioned it to you. There's something I've heard from another instrument, if you will, who said, if 95% of if 95% of the people like you in your life and only 5% don't, you're doing great. And I realized, gee, it's not 5%, maybe only 2% of the people are challenge me. I'm doing fairly well.
Mhm.
So when I go into meetings, sometimes with people that, for no fault of their own, challenge me, I do prepare for that meeting. I don't go in alone, and we've talked about this. I never go in a meeting alone like that. I always have.
Mhm.
And I will sometimes ask God, I'll say, I have a tough meeting. What are you doing? And so I'll be with you. And I walk in that meeting and it's incredible. And that's the one thing I've noticed in the last 9 years. I have better meetings now because I am sowing the seeds, as you say, before I go into the meeting. And the fruit, sometimes the fruit is later, which is even more fun. And we could talk about time, and we talk
Right.
about time in the study because I am a student. But sometimes the fruit is instantly. I changed the dynamic with Baba or God. We changed the dynamic of the meeting. That vibration is felt and everything comes down. So it translates. So I appreciate you framing it like that. And we'll take questions afterwards because these are all things, I am relaxed. I'm a spiritual being, definitely. I'm a soul, but I'm in the material world, like that song, We Are Spirits in the Material World. I used to love that song. I am in a material world. And I like being in the material world. That's a gift to me to be a human being in the material world. But how do I navigate that and come out the other side and be whole and intact? And this study with the Brahma Kumaris has changed everything for me. So one of the questions I have next is, what if we don't realize that we are always, and I'll use the word, this is me editorializing, always planting seeds with our actions, thoughts, and intentions? Can that result in a reduction in the abundance of our life?
Definitely. Because we live through the day and not realizing we're thinking. Going back to reminding the self that my thoughts are the seeds. And if we look at how many thoughts we have throughout the day, can we count them? If I ask you what you were thinking before you came into this room, would you be able to tell me? Nobody. We can't, right? So thoughts, and all these thoughts, they're my thoughts. It's my mind that is creating all these seeds. And so we are randomly spreading these seeds. Randomly, we are just throwing the seeds. So what am I doing in throwing these seeds? What am I doing? I want the best of fruit. I want a happy life. I want a peaceful life. I want a life of everything. But I forget that I'm the one who's planting seeds. I'm the one who's creating my own garden of life. And then I could be just throwing things that is creating weeds. So we have choices, and we are the ones who are making the choices every day. So if I set my foundation in the mornings and I feel that energy of the soul and company of God, you will find that your day now starts becoming easier. So when you think of planting, your question is, we don't realize we're planting. Right? So then whatever will be the result, because I've set my morning, the morning will help me to make the best for throughout the day. So think about it. Set your foundation right. It's like your garden. If you don't prepare the soil properly, like Brother Eric at the backyard, he said to me, this year I will experiment with something different. What is the difference? He says, I'm going to lay the cardboard because worms, it's part of wood and chips and all those things. It creates worms and the soil needs the worms. So, okay, whatever peels we had from the kitchen and all of that, put it on and let the ants and the worms or whatever comes. And I thought that's pretty interesting. So it's an experiment. And so these are the little things that helps us to think consciously so that we don't just throw wild seeds without thinking. I'm not just going to go in we have a little backyard garden like this. And what's so interesting, the sunlight, it hardly gets sunlight. It gets water, but it doesn't get enough sunlight. And we have so many trees at the back there. Now, year after year, we're planting. It's not that we're getting a lot of things from the garden, but it's a hobby. It's the fun of the times. You just enjoy being with Mother Nature. And so it is just beautiful to be consciously planting the seeds rather than saying it, I don't care.
I couldn't agree more because and again, I always used to say that I'm a living petri dish in terms of an experiment, and I do experiment. And sometimes when things are tough, I frame it as, okay, I'm going to experiment now. And I set it up like, let's see how this goes. And inevitably, if I'm intentioned right and have everything set up, inevitably my relationship and my activity changes. And I notice at the same time that when I don't, because I'm only human, I don't always set up because sometimes there's haste. I'm still not there. I'm a big work in progress. It's occasionally when I'm not set up and I go and do my thing, I react rather than respond. I'm not set up. Baba's not with me. I'm just quickly, how do you think those results go? Not so good. I have to work backwards and plant seeds after the fact to fix it. And I do. But when the intention is not there, inevitably to correct it, there has to be intention. At some point, there's going to have to be intention if you want to fix it. Do you want to set it up right in the beginning? For me, sometimes it's after I have to fix it. I like it better in the beginning. I think it's a lot easier. It doesn't seem so. It's like, oh, I have to do this. It's actually easier to set up whatever you want to do beforehand.
I think that's
Does that make sense?
That's the sensible thing to do.
Yeah.
Because what you haven't done, you have to redo it.
Right.
And do we like redoing things?
No.
The same thing?
No.
We
And
don't
that's
like to
what
keep
I mean.
redoing.
It's generally people. Why did I say that wasn't nice? That wasn't correct. And I'll go back and correct it. And it would be so much easier if I didn't have to go there. So that
Can you imagine a garden or whatever? I don't know if you would call it a garden. You just take seeds and you just throw like that. What are you going to have? It's not going to become like a jungle, right? All these skinny things growing out from
the
it.
birds can eat it and you have nothing, which is
Right.
what happens, which the birds can eat it, but so that's
So it's
that's
intentionally.
exactly. I appreciate that so much. And I think that's what I've learned more than anything is intention. And it's not just your actions, but your voice, your words too. That's at a much more subtle, almost, I don't want to say more important. It isn't. It's as important is your intention, your actions, your thoughts. So I want to speak to this. I don't think I fall into this category anymore. I might have, but this is not about me, but can we have abundance? I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask you more articulate than me. Can we have abundance and not be aware of it?
What do you all think? What everyone thinks. Do you have abundance and forget about it? Anyone?
Shanti. The most generous souls that I've met around the world have been people that engage with nature, such as peasants. They're the most generous. Take, for instance, one from India, Hasrubhava Savansinji Maharaj. He would give prasad or totally like crazy. It's just the abundance because nature would provide. And then the natives here, they didn't just put the seeds like have the scatter. No, they had one plant which receives benefit from the other because the other one gives its shade. And the third plant would nourish the other two.
Right.
It was really planned, not as like we have now monoculture that is depleted the soil.
Thank you. You know, when you think of if all of us look at our lives, we have abundance, but we don't notice it because I'm looking in a different direction. I'm not looking at what I have. I might look at what I think I still need and forgetting what I have. How many people have so much in the bank, you know, their jewelry or all the things they have? It's put away. And you tend to forget. I've talked to so many who have that and it just put away, and you forget that you even have them because it's not a place that you go and visit all the time. And so if we look in our own lives, I am peace. I am love. I am happiness. I am contented. I am all the qualities that we need in life to live, which is abundance in the soul. But what is difficulty? We forget. We forget completely that I am and I have. So if we move back into the self and pause for a moment, who am I? What am I? What I have? I'm not going to keep going after what I think I need. Because what I think I need could sometimes connect to that which is pretty physical. And it's not that it's wrong, but it could be a distraction to my own awareness of who I am. So yes, you know, when I think of even the seeds I would have had, one day I was going through something and I found a whole lot of flower seeds. And so it's abundance of flower seeds. Is it good seeds? Are the seeds really good that if I plant them, I will try them? But the point is that you have abundance, but we all forget. And we need to remember. What do you think, Michelle?
I couldn't have said it better. You said it. I see it all too often where people, I don't want to say people, that people are sad that they're missing something. And it's not even just physical things, that they do not take stock. I think it's, you know, in my position, there's a lot about inventory, you know, housing stock, and you need almost like a GPS to know what you have. And a lot of people don't take stock of that they have the resources, they have the support, they have, you know, I just had someone that I know, it's a dear friend, but I had to almost shake her out of it. All she focused on was what was missing. And I would rattle off, and I probably didn't handle it. I went in with that consciousness, but I was listening, but I didn't respond as much as in my mind, going through my own, that she has family, she has resources, but all she could focus on, get to the was what was missing. And one thing I've learned with you, in the old days, I would want to fix it or tell her, correct her, feel sad, go home and feel sad. I sent her blessings and said, this is her journey. And please, Lord, heal her soul, make her feel the way I feel about my life. That's all. I sent her a blessing. Let her see the abundance. I wasn't going to tell her. I would have, a few years ago, 10 years ago. What are you talking about? You have a son that wants to help you. I would have absolutely intervened. But now, and we talked about this in other months, it's all come. Listen, you have 2 ears, 1 mouth. Use your ears, use the 2 things more. So does that make sense about abundance? And I see it, and maybe from, yes, please.
Oh, yeah.
Of me? Or everyone, what do you mean? Absolutely. Oh, I'm not sure I understand. Maybe I missed the question. Mhm. Absolutely.
Repeat the question because
ahead. Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't get the mic
Oh,
over fast.
The gentleman wants to know, can you have more abundance than you have now? And are you asking that in terms of, I feel like, I'll speak for myself. I feel abundant, blessed. But can you ask me then, can I answer in the way, can I have even more abundance? For me, absolutely. I think it's boundless what I can feel. It's that feeling of gratefulness and recognition. So for me, I think the sky is the limit. I don't think I've maxed out yet in the abundance. I am so close to it now. I am so grateful. And I have pretty much the same life that I had before. And by the way, my mom is here. She's on Zoom in
Hello, Mom.
Florida.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. She's gonna maybe fill me in, see if I'm right or have an idea. I do believe, I don't know if it's a great question. I love the question.
If
I
I
think I
can,
can.
if I can add to
But
that,
he's gonna be better than
if
me.
I can add a little to that,
Yeah. I love the question.
can I see one thought? There's abundance in this one thought. If I can see abundance in one thought, it's going to multiply and become unlimited. For example, you bring an apple seed or a tomato seed and say, Sister Anjani, this is a very good apple seed, very good tomato seed. If I say, oh, what am I going to do with this one seed? When I have such a huge land, what am I going to do with this one seed? Or I said, oh, this is so wonderful. It's like as though my vision is not seeing one, it's seeing thousands. Because I know I'm going to plant that one tomato seed. I'll get a tree laden with tomatoes. Then I take all those seeds from that plant, thousands of seeds, and then what happens? And I could create acres and acres and acres of tomatoes. From where did it begin? One single seed. So it's the same with our lives. I only need to hold that one thought with determination. Hold that one thought with love. Fill the qualities that one thought needs. And every time I remember, it is as though something is growing inside of the soul and it's expanding and it's becoming unlimited. So we never stay stagnant or limited. There's always a spiritual growth. Does it make sense?
It sort of does. I'm a little lost on this metaphor with the seeds and the tomato plant. But I guess what I'm asking is, if you genuinely feel you have abundance today, is that desire for more abundance simply more of what you currently have, or is it something that's missing?
It depends on which direction I would like to go. Because if the direction I would like to go of not seeing what I have, it's going to throw me off. But if I see what I have and I use that to get more, it's okay. It's wonderful because you are going to grow what you have. But how do you grow it? How do you grow what you have? Somebody could give you $100. What do you do with it? I could spend $100, or I could say, let me do something with this $100 that will bring me more. And I'm not talking about going and buying a lottery. It could be something that is very fruitful. Yes, Michelle, you want to add to?
Well, I don't know if this is going to answer your question, but I look at the heart. Someone once said, usually when you give something of yourself, the thought is, well, if I give that to you, it's a what is that expression? Zero-sum game. You get it, then I don't have it. But with your heart, with love, and with abundance, that gratefulness. And what I mean by abundance is that there's an old expression, and it might be across all traditions. He who is rich is grateful for what they have. So that's material things too. But so too, when you have a heart and you give a piece of your heart to something, your passion, your spirituality, it gets even bigger. Your heart is the one organ, I say, that can grow. The more you give your heart to yourself, to others, in goodness, the heart is expansive. It doesn't deplete, it gets bigger. And again, that's a metaphor, but I have felt that when I take, and you're shaking your head, if you had that when there's a situation that's there, it's tough, and you say, well, how am I going to handle this? I'm going to give only love. And I'm at the point, I'm not sophisticated enough. I have to concentrate and say, I'm going to give this person love with all, and really, and it's incredible. That person will benefit, but I benefit more. Does that make any sense? I will leave that situation like I've been blown away, like with tears in my eyes. And it's that, I don't know how much you can relate to it, but that's a piece of my heart that I gave. And I didn't think it'd be small in my heart. It got bigger.
The more we give, the more we get.
I think so.
In any area of life.
I think that. I do. I have seen it. I'm an experiment, as I say. But conversely, and this is then that ties in, and your question is great. Conversely, can we squander our abundance? Because that's another thing. I've seen that happen too, not just in a physical sense, but in terms of I don't want to say spiritual, I've seen it spiritually too, where you squander everything you have. And you give examples, I'll give examples, but I would rather hear from you. How do you squander your abundance?
I have seen people who are very wealthy and then goes bankrupt. Just lost everything. It's the same in life, in our spiritual journey. We could feel that we have everything that we need spiritually. But if ego interferes, somewhere, something negative is, I'm consumed by it in a quiet way and not noticing it, not being observant of myself, I could go bankrupt. So I have peace. I am peace. I can feel all the qualities. And sometimes, boom, it's like, where is it all? Where did it go? And that's the moment the soul feels itself to be bankrupt. So, yes, it happens. But the beauty of spirituality is because we know who we are, because I know where I can find what I need, and I know whom is the source I can receive from, I can return back. It was just that my switch was turned off for a moment. And so what I need to do is to turn that switch back on. And it's a switch of awareness of who I am, the awareness of the one who has everything I need, that I connect and I receive, and then I can keep moving forward.
On a personal level, I've been there where the switch, I've not very frequently, I didn't. Have you ever had that where you know the switch is off? I have, it's very rare, but it happens. And I'm
Yes.
breathless, like, what did I say to my husband? What was that? And he's upset. And now I'm more upset. And again, I have to go back to the intention and fix it. But I can come back on the track because I recognize, oh my. And I go back to abundance. Takes a little while. You do have to, you zero out a little bit. You've got to build it up. But in a reasonably short time, I can get back to where I was before, like that baseline of contentment and equanimity. I use the term, but there are times it's like confession, instead, I'm not Catholic, but you can have a confession box, and occasionally, confession, the switch is off.
Yeah.
Rare,
We have to
but
be,
it's there, and it's not pretty, not pretty.
we have to be very mindful, very present, because thoughts are my seeds, right? I'm sowing them. And you could get caught up in something, whether it's to think of the ordinary things that is not significant, then that will be the result I will get. Because it's what sort of seeds are going out I'm spreading, the vibrations I'm spreading. And that creates my experience. Because it's not that I'm only giving it and it's over. I'm giving it knowing that I'm going to receive it. And many of us are not aware of this. We know it, but the awareness is not there. And so that switch is basically the switch of awareness, so that I am aware that throughout the day, if I look at my day to day, put my day up on a big billboard, on a big screen, and I'm looking at it, that I enjoyed my day. Was my day very fruitful? Was there abundance? Do I feel satisfied with my day? What could I have done better? So we need to do some introspection and not just live life. I've got to reflect on myself again and again. If I need to live a life of happiness, a life of peace, and I have to ask myself, what do I really want in life? What am I looking forward to every day? So when I am clear with that, then I know that whatever I'm going to be creating is going to bring that result.
Yes, I always say I can't agree more. I think for me, as again, I still look at myself as used to call me a baby. Now it's 9 years. I'm almost junior high school in Brahma Kumaris, but I still, when you talk about abundance, I still am not at the point where I'm constantly living it. The abundance will come when I don't want to say it's not thought about, but it is so ingrained in me. The intention, for lack of a better term, the kindness, the giving, the sowing of the seeds constantly, that's when the abundance will, and you say about how it grows, that's when it will happen. Am I there now? Nope. Because the switch still turns off once in a while, and and that abundance is squandered. But can I get it back? Yes. But like when we saw Dottie Johnson, I can't imagine her having more abundance than she had. She was walking abundance, and that is because of her
practices.
Her practice was so incredibly strong that is the true abundance, that any moment, because God was with her, she didn't even, constant remembrance of spirit and why she's here. That I don't have that, and I dare say, anyone can comment on that. So I wanted to talk, because we're winding down. What are best practices? I'm into that. In work, I have to do a lot. We're focusing a lot on best practices, because we're trying to change things. To talk to you about another thing I'm working on with water quality. We're trying to get ideas of what are the best practices for government in the agency, but what are the best practices to share for abundance that we can, and you mentioned some, waking up, connecting with God immediately, study,
Traffic control,
traffic control. So in other
which
words,
is
you're-
pausing throughout the day at different timings.
and setting yourself up when you are in a meeting, when you're anytime that you're, so I think that's it. But so when we think of best practices in terms of abundance and charity, we always think, oh, I have to be charitable, I have to donate, and I do. I like to, I do donating food to a pantry. We're always being asked, and rightly so. People are hungry, especially on Long Island lately. We're closed to goodwill. But talk about sharing that spiritual abundance. That's something, let's take it out of the physical. We touched on that a lot. What is sharing our spiritual?
Right now, here in this room, what are we sharing?
Well, that's a good question.
What are we sharing right now in this room with us being here and our family on the Zoom?
I'm trying to report what's worked for me spiritually, that I want to share the love that I got in the study to impart to others,
Right. So we are sharing spiritual abundance.
Right.
Spiritual abundance is what we're sharing. Just to share your experiences of life, how you manage things and situations, how you prepare yourself for those tough meetings, for example. It's wisdom. It might be something that could inspire someone who just walks into a meeting and expect things to be the way they think it should be, rather than preparing the grounds for it to receive and to give. There is a difference. And so that's called spiritual vibrations, spiritual abundance, because I have. Once I am, I have.
Say that again.
Once I am, I'm in the consciousness, I'm in the awareness of I am, I have. And what we have everything we need. We just need to make those pauses. If we pause for those seconds, we don't have to pause for a long time. Just pause for seconds. And peace. And do that regularly. It's a very, very helpful practice that will bring abundance of any quality that you want in your life. Sometimes we're lacking in patience, right? We find this person or this situation or this thing I don't have that much patience for. So what we do, we complain about it within ourselves, or we complain about it with others. At that moment, when I recognize that I don't have patience, your reason might be valid, but it's not valid for me not to have patience. Right? It's not valid for me to feel and think that way. So what do? I return to myself with that pure thought, with that awareness of the seed of thought. Because when I am that, immediately there is an overflow of the energy.
The opposite, you're squandering your
You're squandering
abundance.
your
The minute you go into that, even that thought,
Mhm.
the person wouldn't even know. But I'm
Right.
smiling as I'm going, you're talking to me. Well, I didn't tell too much. That's one of my problems. So, yeah,
You know, spiritual conversations are also very important. When I'm with people, company, how do I spend my time? Do we talk about all the things that's happening in the world? What's not so nice? We know that it's happening. We're aware of, everyone is aware of what, but how much time throughout the day do we engage ourselves in the things? So that's what actually squandering is. Because what I have in the moments I receive, I just squandered it all out because I'm so lost into my own thinking, going into who is right, who is wrong, who did this, who shouldn't be doing this. And what am I doing there? I'm depleting my own energy because I start feeling now like what's happening or what I'm seeing on the television or what I'm hearing someone telling me. And it doesn't sit very well inside. It takes away my spiritual powers. So these are things I have to observe, that I watch my company. My company is my own thoughts. My company is who I'm with. My company is what I'm seeing. My company is anything that I'm spending time with. Louise has her hand up.
Yes, I've been sitting here taking everything in, and I have a personal example of abundance that I've experienced this week, especially. I have two friends who are very ill. One of them is terminal with pancreatic cancer. I mentioned that last week. And she finally picked up the phone a few days ago instead of just texting with me. But I had planted the metaphor seeds of what I do here over the past few years. They never took the course. They're not going to be Brahmin, but without an agenda, they both in their own ways came to me. But the one who is terminal has just maybe weeks or months to live, seems to be transporting herself, even though it's still a little surreal, she's getting sicker quickly, to this acceptance. And see, Baba, I have to bring in God because I asked God to let me be an instrument. And so there's three people there, her, me, and Baba. We call him affectionately. And she asked the question that I had the answer for. It lit up her life. I don't want to repeat the personal question, but she was so excited. And it buoyed her up. But it was my abundance that I had something to give away, which is what I think we're talking about today.
Right.
Then I go and tell the other one about the conversation with this one who is terminal, and she reaps the reward of my coming here without, oh, you should come on Thursday nights, And it was such a beautiful, I was glowing, but it's a different glow than I used to have when I was totally absorbed in my ego and myself. I asked, I was serving, and the results were magnificent in that moment for her. And whether she'll be up to another in-person conversation yet, I don't know why she picked up the phone. We've been texting for 2 weeks. 3 weeks. We've been texting. I don't push. I take my cue from her. Another thing I learned here, I don't jump in and feel I'm going to save her, or here's what I learned, and this is what it's all about, and there's, it's beautiful. It was Baba.
Very good. Good experience. Thank you for sharing. So abundance. We should all feel that we have abundance. There is unlimited within us. I need to have faith in using it. I need to have faith that what I'm sharing with others, it made me happy, it made me peaceful. I just share and leave it. It's just like you plant the seed, you don't keep digging it to see, is it growing? Is it growing? What's growing? Why it's not growing? It should grow. No. Our job is to plant the seeds and sow Let your life be a life of abundance.
I did another experiment the hours late, and again, it never fails. It's so much fun. It's this little silly experiment where I say, I'm going to say hello to everyone that walks by me and mean it and smile. And most people are like, their head is down. They're not, they're clearly, and again, I don't want to judge, they're not going to say hello to me. I always, you see it, and I say, and immediately you can see that immediate, as you said, buoyed up and happy. Oh, hello. Oh, I did it the other day, like to 12 people in a row, and it was so much fun. I felt great. I know everyone. That's abundance because it was so much fun.
Increase it.
So easy to give.
Yeah.
And I know I impacted most of those people. Just they were like, someone said hello to me, and I don't know who she is. That's the experiments that increase my abundance over and over and over again, because it lifts your heart. My heart gets fuller, and it makes the other more difficult, because there are other experiments I do that are a little harder, easier. Does that make sense?
But you had the power first to do that.
Yes, but I've done this before I never used to, I said this numerous times here, I never complimented. So it's pure, I once decided I'm gonna, whether I meant it or not, but the more you do it, the action, the more you feel it. So I think you don't have to have that study, you just have to do the action. I did the action first and started saying, you look nice. And it was hard for me. And after a while, you look nice. And I would go, oh, that was hard. But eventually, because I don't know what it was, I was younger. I don't know what. Now I mean it. And wow, you look great. I'm the most complimentary person because I really mean it. But I had to act it out for a long time. So I don't know if that. So I think you can bring yourself along by just doing it, and it just takes good is good. Plant good seeds, you're gonna get a good tree. And so that's kind of helpful. I don't
But
know.
it's very powerful, I think, to have, you created that game, I'll use that. And it's magical when we go to that abundance that we have to initiate, and maybe it'll work with one person or two people. My girlfriend was dancing to Neil Diamond with her husband in the living room. She's gonna be gone soon. But I said to her from here, that's your power. Because she was telling me how awfully horribly he's taking her illness. It was a sudden diagnosis. And I said, well, here's your power. The two of you are going to create something that maybe you'll touch that you don't even have yet. So you're not powerless over the world. You're not powerless but there's your power. And I think it's really important to identify that's the specialty. Mhm.
Okay, time is up. We'll do some meditation. Yeah. We'll have some meditation.
Before people leave, I have one very important announcement. May I, before we meditate? We're having something unusual here that I mentioned last week. It's a book reading and casual conversation. How many of you knew Anthony Strano? Beautiful. You listen to a lot of his meditations here that Brother Eric plays at 6:30. Anyway, we're having a book reading in person only, and it's going to be in the book room. And it's based on excerpts from his book, Anthony Strano, The Quest for Well-Being. You don't have to buy the book. You don't have to read the book. We will have excerpts for you. And it's going to be Sunday evening, April 26th, last Sunday in April, from 5 to 6:30. Enter through the bookshop and just come, and it'll be a very, very beautiful, because he's a beautiful angel now. Come next week.
Okay, so let's all sit comfortably, relax. I'll just turn my chair a little bit. So let's look at our inner garden. And let's prepare ourselves to sow the best of seeds. Whatever I've sown today or in the past, it was beautiful. But I'm very consciously aware that what I would like to sow now is the seeds of peace, the seeds of love, the seeds of generosity, the seeds that will bring forth the fruit of abundance. I'm aware of my preparation. My preparation is that inner state of silence and quietness. The preparation is to ask myself, who am I? And what are the thoughts I would like to create to have a better quality of life? Become aware. I am living this life. And how am I living? Am I happy? And so I'm aware that the thoughts I create now, they're filled with love. They're filled with peace, with compassion, with care, with kindness, with humility, with respect. The more I nurture these seeds with these qualities, what returns is the fruit of abundance of these qualities. These qualities naturally and automatically become full in the soul. I can think of God as the gardener who guides me, who gives me that helping hand whenever I need. In the moments that challenges the soul, I can't till the soil, or whatever is the help that's needed. Reach out to that supreme being and feel the flow of that energy that makes everything easy. It's the greatest moments of our lives to feel we have the capacity to create the best. Create it now. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. So we have God's hand in one hand and we have a packet of seeds in the other. Thank you both so much. This was a beautiful evening, focusing on who we really are. No matter what's going on in the world, we can go inward and we can have peace and abundance to share. See you next week. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Om Shanti. And stay for your blessing and totally, as always. Om Shanti, Zoom. Thanks again.
Om Shanti, and thank you very much, Michelle. It was lovely having a chit chat with you. It's our living room chit chat. This was our living room. Okay, Om Shanti, thank you.